Alright, it's nearing the end of the year where AP tests and college finals are crashing down on us all as students here in the 21st century, and we have no time for anything but studying, writing, preparing a group project that no one else is working on, making a presentation, practicing the presentation, even though you know you're going to mess it up in class in front of everybody, and it's getting really stressful and really hard to focus, and you have no time for anything else. And it's just awful. Hi, my name is Wiley. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to write an essay fast and still get a good grade. Hopefully the tips I give you today can help relieve some of that stress and open up some free time for you either to do stuff that you enjoy or to just put into different projects that you haven't had time to put into yet. Oh, that made no sense at all. Before we get into today's video, I am trying to hit 400 subscribers by the end of this month, so if you guys would subscribe, that would mean so much to me. I would really appreciate it. Seriously, it means the world to me when you guys subscribe and leave a comment or like or anything like that. Engage with the video on any level. It seriously means a lot to me, and being such a small channel, it helps out tremendously. So thank you guys so much if you do take time out of your day to subscribe or to leave a like or comment or something. I really do appreciate it. All right, so this video is going to be broken up into 3 parts, and just in case you're a little bit skeptical of my writing ability, my college essay was good enough to be put into a book about how to write a good college essay. I've written probably 1.5 million 3-page, 6-page, 10-page, 12-page essays in my life, so I really feel like I am knowledgeable about what I'm telling you guys, but also in the last 2 weeks, I've really had to apply what I'm saying to just keep myself sane. So I've thought a lot about what's going into this video and about what will actually help you and what I think will apply to the most of you, so hopefully this video helps out. All right, I'm gonna break this video into 3 parts. The first one, which will be here, yes, is going to be all about either the outline or the destructive outline, which is what I use. So normally teachers will suggest using an outline, and that's pretty much just saying, put in the intro, like what context do you want to have in your intro? What context do you want to have in your first body paragraph? What are some ideas for a thesis? You know, all of those things that, yeah, sure, they work pretty well, but for me, they never really worked that well. So I invented, I guess it's not really an invention, but I just call it a destructive outline. And this really has no structure at all, and it's not really an outline. Essentially what I do is I open up a Google Doc and I title the essay whatever, you know, topic it might be. Maybe it's criminal justice in like the 1800s or something, because that was an essay that I had to write earlier this year. But then I just start writing literally everything that I know about criminal justice in the 1820s. Everything that I know about the topic of the essay, whether it's what I think I want to do for an introduction, what I think I want for my 3rd body paragraph, maybe some sources I can use. I just like slap the names in there. And at the end, I have this really kind of jagged looking piece of paper with a bunch of random ideas everywhere. But for me, it's really helpful to get my ideas out from my brain and onto the paper, because that allows me to remember my ideas if I forget them in my mind, which I almost do every single time. But it also just helps me to visualize what I'm thinking, because if I'm trying to come up with an outline in my head or anything going on in my head, I can't really piece it together on a doc, or if I do and I finally get to writing, it doesn't look quite how I wanted it. So just getting everything down onto the Google Doc really helps me stay organized. Even though it doesn't look organized, I do feel more in control of the essay than if I had, you know, ideas still sitting in my head or like placed around an outline. I just never liked the outline because I felt that it was too much structure at first. But yeah, I mean, I already complained about the outline. Okay, before we get on to part 2, you want to stand up and take a 5-minute break and just walk around, stretch, do whatever you want, you know, relax a little bit, maybe watch some TikToks, take a drink of water, which I'm gonna do right now, actually. Taking a break will really help with your mind's ability to lock back in on the writing, because if you just try to sit there and write the entire essay all the way through, it's going to be really hard for you. So just taking small breaks in between these 3 different segments that I set up for you is honestly, it could be the difference between you finishing the essay in 1 sitting and 2 sittings. So there you go. Anyways, the second step, I go back into the essay, and now I look at all of my ideas and I go, okay, this batch of ideas can go in the intro. I think it provides enough context where I feel like it can support my thesis while also setting up my arguments for the other body paragraphs. And then I kind of organize everything in these little subgroups, and I start filling them out, kind of rounding them out, making them look more like an essay. And yes, this is kind of what an outline does, but it's different from the outline in that I didn't use a pre-structured intro, body paragraph, body paragraph, body paragraph, conclusion, and I kind of just unleashed everything onto the paper. So now I have all my ideas. I didn't feel the pressure of having to structure them right away, and now I get to kind of play around with it and adjust it and maybe I want to put this sentence here and this sentence somewhere else. And I think that really opens the door for a lot of progression in your essay as well, because before you know it, all of those scattered ideas you had down on the paper have turned into paragraphs and paragraphs of writing. And sometimes it happens that I even have too much writing and I end up having to cut down with the remaining time. Now, I want to emphasize that while you're writing through your second piece here and you're trying to connect these ideas, maybe you're rounding them out and making them look like paragraphs, it still does not need to be anything close to a final draft. That's honestly my last step. But this second step should really just be, okay, what ideas make the most sense together and where are they? And just isolating them. Maybe you put a couple transition words in there to make it feel more like a paragraph, more like an essay, and a little bit more flow, but it should not be a final draft. Don't try to go through every sentence and make it perfect, because it's not going to work the way you want it to, and you're just going to have to end up going through it again anyways and correcting it. So don't worry about the final draft right now. Just connect ideas. Just get everything down, and that's really all you have to do for step 2. Take a 5-minute break, like I said, get up, walk around, watch some TikToks, get another sip of water, which I will do again right now because I want to stay hydrated. All right, on to step 3. This is my last step, and this is what I call the final draft revision step. Now that you're done with step 2, you should have a pretty fleshed out version of your essay, at least where the ideas are. And so what you can do is you can break up step 2 and 3, and maybe you can have a step 2.5 where you just try to go through and make it seem like more of an essay. But step 3 is really about looking at your essay and making revisions where you think it's going to matter the most. And this is the biggest part of step 3. You want to print out your essay. I know, no one likes printing out their essay and reading an actual piece of paper. It sucks. How could you read an actual piece of paper? Like, oh my God. But I promise you, printing out and going through with like a pen or something, makes you feel way smarter, because then you get to walk around campus with like this fully decked out pamphlet of your essay, which is all marked up and it looks like really scholarly. But it also really helps you find those intricate little details for revisions that you would have missed if you were just staring at a screen. For me, I'm in the process of writing a book, which is, yes, a little nerdy, but who cares in the long run, right? And for me, like, this is just a page. Feels pretty good to just have this and then read through it and correct it after that. I talked about this in one of my last videos where like handwriting notes is a lot better than typing notes, and it's kind of in that same family of, you know, hand to brain connection, where when you're looking at a physical piece of paper and you are actually using your hand to make physical corrections to your writing, it just helps your mind connect to it better, and thus you can write a more kind of well-rounded revision rather than if you're just looking at your screen and you just typed in a couple words because you thought it might sound better there. In terms of time, I would say once you get really good at this strategy, it'll take you maybe 45 minutes to an hour to write 3 pages. If you're just starting, I would say maybe an hour and a half at the most, because you should not be spending more than half an hour on each step before you take that 5-minute break. If you need to, that's totally fine, but I think you'll start to see that the more you do this, the faster you're going to get at it and the better it's going to feel when you're done, because then you know that you've trusted the process, you've done everything you can to be as genuine with the essay as possible, you've printed it out, you've looked at it, you put down all of your ideas about the essay, you've connected all of your ideas, and it's just going to feel more well-rounded than if you had tried to go through a normal outline or from start to finish, just, you know, without any preparation. Hopefully you guys take these tips and apply them to your own essays. Let me know down below if they work for you. I would love to hear from you guys about anything college or high school related. You know, I'm here to answer all of your questions, so let me know. And if you, all right. See you on the next one.